going to jump into this replay here, guys. I mean, Iggy and Scorch, Muriel, Bellica, those have been the bans. Arctic Wolves has prioritized the Bellica bans. No, Arctic Wolves has prioritized Iggy and Scorch bans.
Yes.
Yesterday they banned him twice. Today they've banned him once. Are they going to ban Iggy and Scorch, or do we see a Kalari ban? Possibly a Countess ban. I haven't really seen Ram Riddles on Countess, but I feel like giving Ram Riddles a assassin type hero may not be the best idea.
I'm questioning if Iggy and Scorch is even a Ram Riddles hero per se. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure Ram Riddles could play Iggy at a good level and make that hero very effective.
Right.
But generally he favors heroes that are very technically demanding heroes. Iggy is not that. So I wonder if maybe Arcticos are putting a little bit too much priority onto the Iggy and Scorch ban, not understanding Team Oxygen's play style enough. Arsenic generally likes to be on tempo control heroes like Bellica, Howitzer, heroes along that nature, and Iggy really doesn't fit the overall play style of that of those strong laners that Team Oxygen has.
Yep, we've got Muriel, Lieutenant Bellica bans. Arctic Wolves is going to pick up Iggy and Scorch right off the bat. They don't ban it, so they take it, deny it. I'm not, like you said, I want to say Ram played Iggy and Scorch yesterday in their best of 3 games the other day.
Okay.
So I know Ram's got a deep hero pool. He's got a lot of heroes he can pick from. But Arctic Wolves picks up Iggy and Scorch, which leaves Team Oxygen with their first 2 picks of the game. We're going to see a Rampage pickup. Of course, I mean,
that's your boy.
I 100% think Meds is going to be on this in the jungle. I don't see this being played as a support pickup right here. I could be wrong, but I do think Rams is going to be on this guy in the jungle here. Or Meds is Gadget back in the mid lane.
There you go. Now this Gadget could be run. I mean, it's more likely going to be Arsenic in the mid lane here, but Gadget is a hero who, against certain lineups, actually can deal with an off lane position decently well. But I think right now, judging with Arsenic's performance last game, more than likely going to be set up in that mid lane here. Gadget, not necessarily as flashy as a Bellica, more just consistently making sure your sticky bombs land. Like, that's the most key part of playing Gadget well, is making sure you're always getting those landing on the important heroes right away. But still, effective player on an effective hero generally is going to end in good results.
Murdoch picked up as the carry for the side of Arctic Wolves. Support either going to be Narbash. I mean, I'm definitely thinking it's going to be Narbash. I'd be surprised. Or maybe it's Iggy and Scorch support. We don't know. That could be crazy. Nope, there's the Narbash pickup right there.
I still think Iggy and Scorch is not a bad support.
We saw Lucer do work with it the other day.
Yeah,
I mean, shut down Countess completely.
If you want to put the offlaner of your opponent into a miserable state, if you want to make him just sad and depressed and angry, go Iggy and Scorch support. Trust me. Don't do it against me, though.
Richter picked up
probably
for
support.
Team Oxygen Esports. Most likely going to be the support position here.
Phasma
is a nasty boy.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a nasty boy, just overall.
He's a nasty boy. Just as a human, he's a nasty boy.
He back in Richter's heyday on Legacy, Phasma was notorious on this hero. Once again, okay, who's jungling, Notch?
Kwang off lane. Kwang off lane. Rampage in the jungle. Richter on Phasma. Phasma on Richter. Richter and Phasma action. Expect him to be hyper friggin' aggressive.
I love this draft so far from Team Oxygen.
It's scary as hell.
How do you deal with Iggy? You don't let him set up. You go hard on him. You just go in there. What better heroes to do that with than Richter, Kwang, and Rampage?
Chimera picked up again for Arctic Wolves. Really do not like this pickup. I wanted to see a Grux. I wanted a Grux real bad. Maybe it's offlane Chimera.
He's
in the jungle.
Seen people. I mean, it's a new dawn, man. It's a new dawn.
It is a new dawn. It's a new day.
Let's try this stuff out. Let's see if it works. It won't, but let's try it.
Last pickup here is going to be their Grim EXE is their mid laner.
Now we're talking. Now we're in there. It's getting spicy up in here for Arctic Wolves.
Caster Grim, baby.
Love it. With that being said, I'm pretty sure Gadget will just body him mid lane if he's not careful. Yes, he has deflection. He has deflect shield. I get it. Oh, I can hit right mouse button and deflect it. Except sticky bomb's like a sticky bomb literally has half the cooldown of deflect shield.
That is
true. Even if you're able to land it, you still have to deal with seek and destroy. You still have to deal with the auto attacks. On paper, everyone's like, "Oh, Grimmix can win this matchup." No, this is a horrible matchup for Grimmix.
I like Team Oxygen's draft a lot better here. You've got 2 heroes that will most likely be running Godmother Vigilant, which means there's going to be a lot of ward coverage for Team Oxygen Esports. They've got an insane strong front line. They've got great CC potential with Rampage Boulder into a hook, into a skewer, plus a tether into a hook, into a boulder. They've got it all. Looking at the draft, Shane, Arctic Wolves has got an uphill struggle, uphill battle right now. This draft of Team Oxygen Esports is pretty friggin' nasty.
It is just the front line. The triple front line is the scariest thing. Strafe and Arsenic, they could be on whatever. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. It's Ram, Meds, and Phasma with the Kwong, Rampage, and Richter.
Yeah.
That, I mean, just their models are big, so they're going to be able to body block. Kwong is a raid boss amongst himself, let alone Richter if he builds a lot into Vitality. Rampage if he builds a lot into Vitality. With that being said, I have actually seen some players, some top 50 players running like a agility Rampage and agility Richter. We'll have to see how that starter works out. Maybe we'll see that since there is 2 other frontliners to fill that position. Nonetheless, it's all about making sure Team Oxygen literally just doesn't walk up to Arctic Wolves and get into their backline because they have a very fragile backline with both essentially 2 different carries, one being run as a caster, one being run as an ADC on the side of Arctic Wolves.
So let's introduce these teams, buddy. We're into this match here. Tribal is going to be playing Mecha, Iggy, and Scorch. Love that skin. Oh my gosh. Crazy Fool is back on the bash. Talrino in the mid lane is going to be rocking the Grim. Mr. Guru is going to be that carry in the safe lane with Murdoch, and Fluxify back in the jungle on Chimera.
0% hook rate. Phasma missed his first hook. I'm so disappointed. That's okay. It was against Iggy and Scorch, and Tribal hit the S button at the appropriate time. I was able to get away here. Fluxify, I want to see more out of him. We've been very critical about him, but I think that's just because his role last game was... I mean, he didn't really have a role. I think he just sort of got walked over here. I think jumping on a Phasma, I feel like the support Richter is definitely a hero that Chimera can exploit very, very easily. I want to see there be a little bit more presence of mind, a little bit more rotations. Sure, the river buffs are important, but being oppressive as a jungler is so very important. We'll see what Fluxify wants to do. Already picking up the green buff. This leads me to believe that he may be getting a little bit aggressive pretty early on.
I mean, I want to see him get aggressive on Gadget, on Arsenic early. Like, jump on this hero, especially once Taurino hits level 5. 15-second cooldowns, depending on his build. It's going to be a caster Grim build here. So we'll see things like Invader Mage, possibly Mana Flow Acolyte, and just get aggressive early. He didn't pick up Taurino. Does Taurino not have Font of Experience on? He does not.
He has Advanced Evolution.
Advanced Evolution on. So he's not going to hit 5. He's going to hit it quickly, but it's going to be, I would say, not as early as I would like to see with having Grim in the mid lane.
And I think that's 100% necessary for him to go Advanced Evolution, because Font of that sustain he gets every time he levels up, he gets a heal and some mana. He needs that to stay in lane against Gadget, to harass Gadget. And again, it's a matchup that does not favor him, so he's going with the more lane-oriented build as opposed to getting the experienced Tribal. In some trouble. Meds is going to land the point-blank boulder, as well as the follow-up is there. There's your first blood. Meds picks it up on Rampage. And Fluxify now rotating over to the 3-minute buff with his support. Crazy Fool is going to pick up the red. Adjusting over to mid lane here, but interesting that Taurino was pushing out the wave this early on, mitigating rotation capabilities of the Chimera. It's simply too early to be diving underneath towers. Instead, Fluxify is still, he's over on the enemy side of the map, at very minimum, denying some farm by picking up this weak side jump. Okay.
Look at Phasma behind the fog wall here. He's right behind Taurino.
Deflector shield is on cooldown. He just used it. There's the silence. The hook. Oh, okay. The deflect shield must have just barely come off.
Just come off, yeah. It had to have just come off because he used it before. I don't think it had been, 12 seconds, 14 seconds? I don't think he'd used it yet. So silence hit, but unfortunately it fell off and he was able to use that deflection shield to keep him safe. I do want to see them put a lot of pressure against Tribal over here, Shane. Not allow Tribal to set up in this offlane. You let it Iggy and Scorch set up. Once he gets level 5, he pops that ultimate, and it's fire and death and chaos, and there's very little that can be done about it. So they need to make sure they prioritize. I think Meds put a lot of time into this lane. Blow this hero up. Don't let him set up. Strafe as well. Make sure you're clearing out those turrets so they're not just sitting there. And when you go to engage, when the rotation comes. So far, we're seeing Arsenic. You got to give this lane to Arsenic. Arsenic wins the mid lane here in this situation. A caster against Iggy, against Grim, who's not really a caster. Yes, we're seeing people built that way.
No. He's a caster.
I mean, sure, we're playing him as a caster.
Because then that means he's a caster.
I feel like Bellica wins, or not Bellica, Gadget wins this every time.
Just because you win a lane doesn't mean a hero isn't a caster.
I mean, yes, but wasn't he originally launched as a carry?
Yeah, and Greystone was launched as a carry too.
You make a very valid point.
Narbash is a jungler. Narbash is a jungler. Yeah.
You make a very valid point. I apologize.
Narbash.
Okay, you win. You won the argument. You won the argument with Greystone.
All right, we did it right here on PCL. Guys, this is Notch and I's daily communications. You're having some insight into how we communicate every single day.
That being said, Arsenic's going to win this lane. Arsenic has, I think he's got minus the ultimate. Minus the ultimate. I feel like Arsenic has the stronger poke, because he's not using an ultimate every 15 seconds.
Farewell, Tribal.
He's not going to be using his ultimate every 15 seconds. That's not his poke. It's a sticky bomb, which is on like a 6-second cooldown and does significant damage. Yes, Taurino can mitigate that a little bit, but I feel like without the ganks here, without either shutting down Taurino or shutting down Arsenic, Taurino's going to be in trouble in this lane, and he's going to need that support. We've already got another rotation coming out of Phasma here again.
The Flex Shield, I believe, is online. Hook doesn't quite have the link fast because used a little bit more there, but he's not going to be able to connect and be able to get away here. Phasma rotating around, trying to be oppressive in the mid lane, but on a Richter, if you don't land those hooks, that's the core of his kit, and uncharacteristically, hasn't connected when he really needs it. He's landing like the point-blank hooks, but the hooks that are a little bit more difficult to land, not connecting thus far. But when it comes to Richter, I believe it's a famous quote: "You miss every hook you don't throw, Notch."
That's it. That's it. You only need to land the important ones.
Exactly.
That's all you got to do. We're 6 minutes and 33 seconds into the game. We've got Flame of Zechen online for Meds. He's got Green Spring going with that extra healing and Demolitionist to help him with that early game cleared. Arsenic in the mid lane, rocking Advanced Evolution, and Cole the Weak. Make sure he's picking up those last hits. Phasma rocking a Font of Experience because he's been roaming quite a bit. Carries are picking up Sand Speeder and Nitro Boost for Strafe, giving that extra movement speed. And Ram is running Taskmaster and Armored Footman, Shane. So he can be a little bit tanky in the early game here. His tower has fell. I mean, if I'm Ram, my tower's down. I just freeze up at the tier 2 and farm safely. Ram loves...
Yeah, that's pretty much
he likes the split push. Yeah, he likes the split push. If he doesn't have to participate in the team fight, if he knows his team can handle it, he'll just sit there and continue to push on you all day long. But he sits here and he free farms. He gets super fed, and then when he shows up to an engagement, nobody's expecting the damage out of him because it's just out of nowhere. He lands a tether, comes in with that ultimate, and just blows everyone's mind.
Now, what have we seen the second affinity for Tribal yet? It's Growth. I haven't seen him pick up another card that isn't Growth. I want to say it's Order, just because that would make a lot of sense, but I think Death would also work very well too. But Order just has Order.
Just picked up Invader Mage.
Okay. Just
kidding. Is that the visual bug?
Mage in the chat.
Just joking. Just joking.
What's that? I thought you were about to go into your notorious.
I was gonna go my Imsco impression. Everybody misses him. I figured I'd just bring him into the fold.
Twitch
got a rotation on a Ram here. Rotation on a Ram. Ram is low. Is he gonna get out? He does not get out. Mr. Guru there with that chase.
Meds is here. He's in the enraged form, swinging the claws, but not much going. I gotta say, Arctic Wolves, man, they are looking they look like a different team this game. A completely different team.
That was the first gank. That was the first gank from Fluxify this game.
And Mr. Guru picks up yet another long arm of the loss set up by Taurino. I'm legitimately impressed by how well Taurino is faring in this matchup. I mean, he hasn't even had that much assistance. He's been rotated on many times by both Meds and Phasma. I don't know, Arsenic, there's been a couple times where I've seen Arsenic just whiff sticky mines, and that's very uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Taurino has ways to deal with those. So, like we saw with the hook earlier, he just shielded it. He shielded a couple of the sticky bombs, but at this point, I don't think there's been enough pressure on this mid lane. They've kind of allowed him to do. They've just kind of allowed him to do his thing and just sit here and farm. And he's going to be okay with that because he's going to come online. And at some point, these GTFOs are going to hit for a lot. They're not just going to be, 10, 50% damage. They're going to be 35, 40% health. Now he's in trouble.
That was
Committed a lot to that. There was an ultimate down. There was a sticky bomb. Hooks. He was not getting away. And they finally pick up this kill on Taurino. Again, we need more presence, though, out of Fluxify. We've got a Twin Blast that's overextended past the Tier 2 tower. I think they waited a little bit long. Okay.
They should be able to pick up this kill here. He does have the speed boost, but Crash Bang Boom now being delegated, Crazy Fool is going to pick up the kill. So, yeah, you called upon Fluxify, and he answered Notch. Gets a very important kill, but more importantly, they're punishing these greedy pushes that Team Oxygen is so known for. They're known for putting so much emphasis on pushing lanes early, and Arctic Wolves are starting to play much more as a team. They're being more swift across the map. I would love to see them maybe go for a little bit more of an objective game play. They keep getting pickoffs, but they've gotten a couple pickoffs the past couple minutes, but they're really not doing much with them. And also looks like they're switching up the lanes a bit. Could be temporary, but Taurino, man, he's actually farming very, very well. He's not too far behind of his one position carry on Mr. Guru. All things considered, that's pretty damn good.
I wonder if we're going to... Okay, I was going to say, is he going to go into that 2v1 position? It does not look like it. It looks like they're putting Iggy and Scorch back there. They may be trying to invade here, but there's a lot of vision on the map on this side. They've got Orb Prime warded up. Another ultimate coming out of Arsenic. Nice little chunk of damage there. That's just going to be that damage late game, Shane. We saw it yesterday.
It's so dumb.
We saw it late game where it was just like, hey, there's 45% of your health gone. They're going for an Orb Prime here. Are they baiting
They
this?
have Iggy. They have Iggy. I love this. They have Iggy. Is Iggy level 9? Iggy is not level 9, but that's okay. This is very tense for both teams. Look at Ram on the right side of the map as well. He's going to be trying to push him out. GTF used onto Strafe to try to make him low. Meds going in. Ultimate forced out. Many ultimates handle it. Being used thus far. Arsenic does take down Crazy Fool. And it looks like Team Oxygen might have fought into an Iggy and Scorched him. They got burned. Guys, this is Iggy and Scorch. This is his strength. They're going to get 2 kills. They're going to more than likely pick up the Orb Prime. They're conceding a Tier 1 tower off of this. No, they're actually not. Yeah, they're too low. So Oxygen is going to at least keep them off of Orb Prime, but still, they gave up 2 kills in the process.
Yeah, it's, again, don't allow Iggy to set up. That's what Iggy did there. Iggy set up. We had Arsenic run in. He came off of the ledge. The moment he fell into that, the ultimate was popped by Iggy and Scorch. He took so much damage from that. They continue to try to apply that pressure, and they end up picking up more kills as well. So Iggy's Fluxify's in some trouble here. He's in the juggle. He went to for the invade. He got picked up by 3, and he got blown up there. One of the things with Iggy's turrets, Shane, is that they when you ult, those turrets, the fireballs of death and destruction, actually hit multiple people. So they're not just hitting one target here. So, I mean, everybody was taking all of the damages all of the time. And no Orb Prime, but to get 2 kills, and that's what they needed.
Taurino sitting at a modest 1-1 and 2 in 62 CS. Has level 9, so now has that second level of GTFO. Going to be doing even more damage as the game goes down. Look for him to be focusing that GTFO either onto Strafe or Arsenic, as those are very, very fragile. GTFO on Ram at a certain stage, is his HP bar just won't move.
Yeah.
So Team Oxygen, though, are probably going to set themselves in a position where they're going to be body blocking these GTFOs as frequently as they can. But even then, it's still very distracting and may force bad positioning that Arctic Wolves can exploit if they overcommit to body blocking a GTFO. All of a sudden, you have 3 members of their team clumped up trying to save their team, and all of a sudden they're in a Crash Big Boom or something along those lines. So even if the GTFO doesn't hit the target, it still forces awkward positioning out of their opponent.
Teams rotating around a lot together right now. They're going to clean up this mid lane tower here. Ram just doing what Ram does. He's over there split pushing. They're leaving him alone. They're allowing him to just push. Mr. Guru is now rotating over. Does he have Swamp Stalker, Armored Footman, and Taskmaster? They may be able to pick up a kill here. Crash Bang Boom is down. Ram is taking a lot of damage. He's about 25% health. A couple more auto attacks. Mr. Guru
Pursuit.
just got to land one.
Juked! Long
Where's
arm
the
and long.
ultimate?
You can't juke a laser. Chat, that's physics. Over here on the other side of the map, Meds popping the enrage. Tier 2 tower does fall. Counter initiation possible as Chimera goes in, but immediately getting focus fire down, and without with a lack of commitment as well as a 2v4 situation, down goes Fluxify. Chimera is a zero-sum hero. Either he's just either you're going to die or I'm going to die. There's no in between on Chimera, and the result there not working out for him, giving up a tier 2 tower in the process.
And it seems like he's the one been doing a lot of the dying every time he engages like that. Jumping in, there's just not a lot of follow-up. I mean, his team is following up, but there's not enough damage coming out. And they just instantly focus that target. He puts himself out of position. And when Fluxify gets out of position on Chimera, they just instantly focus and blow him up and take him out of the equation. They did it the last game, and they're doing it this game so well. Let him jump in. They're just waiting for it at this point. And then instantly everybody turns and takes that target down. Taurino trying to get aggressive on the Arsenic in the mid lane here.
Right mouse button.
Sticky Bomb is going to miss or land, but he lagged it out. The shield actually did not. The shield actually stopped the damage.
Oh, it did. Okay.
There's quite a bit of damage on Arsenic there. He got hit with a GTFO. He's gonna have to back up. He's about 50% health, low on mana. He's gonna have to
Orb
back.
Prime.
And this does open up that Orb Prime. Exactly right.
How do I mean? How do you fight into this?
You don't. I think you try and defend. Are they backing off?
I think just they're transitioning to mid lane because they're seen being pushed down, but they should be able to pick this up.
Okay.
Yeah, Fluxify has all the region in the world. They're going to be able to pick it up. They have Flame of Zekin. And now they have Orb Prime online. Yeah, I agree, Notch. I think the only thing you can do is the moment you see that many turrets, you're like, just back up, set the waves, push these waves out while they're doing it and while they're committed to this, and try to defend after the fact. Because Iggy is good at defending and zoning, but when it comes to actually damaging down the tower itself, that's definitely something that he needs a little help with.
The big thing is what do they get off of this?
Yep.
What does Arctic Wolves get off of this Orb Prime? They've got it picked up, but 2 of the tier 1 towers are standing. They're at a deficit when it comes to, not a huge deficit, but they are behind when it comes to their support. I mean, that's got to be a visual bug on my end. There's no way Strafe's only at 12,000 gold. Strafe is at 18,000 gold. So they're at a minor deficit. It's not anything horrible, but I feel like there's a defense here. There's Tesla Dome that's going to be able to deal with these mini waves if they decide to push a group up and take a tower. It's a tier 1 tower. You let it fall. This is no skin off their back. You know what I mean? No reason to die for this. So they let this fall. But I don't feel like Arctic Wolves is going to get a ton off of this.
Remriddle's pushing down a tier 2 tower. Iggy and Scorch just now starting to run over there, and I think the response is going to be too late. Ram, if he dedicates to the Fury of the Heavens, might be able to pick up the tier 2 tower. Mid lane, though, is where the action is. Fluxify's getting focused down. Good hook, pulled him through the tower, away from the safety of his team. Isolation, and they're going to be able to pick up the kill. Meds has no ultimate, as it was forced very, very early. 2-man ultimate on a crazy pull, Mr. Guru, but a great displacement drop from Taurino. It's going to cause him to have no follow-up from the 2-man ultimate, and they pick up the 2 very important frontline kills on Meds and Phasma. The push continuing possibly. We see Taurino now rotating over to the right side, maybe to cut off a camp, but this is a 2v2 with Crazy Fool and Mr. Guru. They have to be careful here. It looks like they are going to continue to siege this down, at least for the moment, as Taurino is going to reconnect with his team. But Meds, Phasma, they're going to be back on the map. Still, Arctic Wolves, they do pick up a tier 2 tower in the mid lane in exchange for their own tier 2. Ram was able to get that down. So, tit for tat, Team Oxygen, even though they conceded the Orb Prime, they did what they needed to do. And they pretty much were able to go even on objectives. Yeah, I mean, tier 2 for tier 2, it was a 2 kills on the side of Arctic Wolves and 1 kill for Oxygen there. So it's even exchange at that point. They didn't get a ton off of it. I think that's right. As of this moment, what that did was buy Arctic Wolf some time to farm up. They got a nice influx of gold by clearing out that mid lane, taking out the tower, picking up those minions. So they did get the benefit of economics there with gold and whatnot, but I think they just bought themselves the time to restabilize and figure out what their next move is going to be. Fluxify, again, under that engagement. He went for that tower, and Shane, the moment he's out of place, Phasma hits him with a hook, and they just blow that target up. They've done it every single engagement.
He's their big front liner. Fluxifies that front liner, and they're doing such a good job at keeping him shut down that he's been more of a presence this game in game number 1. But I think Arctic Wolves, the moment Fluxify goes on a target, they need to focus on whatever target Fluxify is on and blow that guy up. Because if they don't, Fluxify is going to fall pretty quickly.
Tribal picked up. He's doing the good old elevate plus ward over here on Iggy and Scorch. Assuming, yeah, he has 2,500 health, so that's a tanky Iggy. Tanky Iggy's still a thing, still being built that way. His kit is still just, it's catered towards not having to build much damage, but at the same time still being very, very effective with damage. So that's another just sort of secondary strength of that hero, is he can almost sort of be a secondary support, picking up wards and just granting that very, very important vision. A lot of wards going down by Orb Prime, despite the fact that it's not going to be spawning here anytime soon. Raptors were just recently taken, but right now it's just sort of a lull in the action as the main objectives are off the field. And right now I think it's just teams sort of playing a little bit passively until the next big power play comes up, whether it's the Raptors or the Orb Prime.
I think this benefits Arctic Wolves more unless Talrino gets ganked in the midline. Look at Ram and Arsenic setting up.
Oh,
We've got Meds behind him here.
Mr. Guru is behind him, but in terms of being able to save Grim, I'm not sure what they're going to do. The Tether's going to land, and down he goes here. Counter initiation. Fluxify goes in, and they are able to isolate Meds and get the kill for themselves. So 1 for 1, well done, Fluxify. That's what we're talking about.
There we go.
Run and gun is the name of the game. Tether lands, but Fluxify didn't land on him, and he's going to secure the kill over onto Ram. So a double kill for Mr. Guru over on the Murdoch. A good infusion of economy. Iggy and Scorch doing a good job of defending the counter pressure in their lateral lanes. And Arctic Wolves are really just... This is how they needed to play in game number 1, but more importantly, Fluxify is really starting to show up to these fights, something we haven't seen up until this moment.
Yeah, that was a good rotation by them. That's exactly what they needed. Phasma's out of position. Crash, bang, boom, and fall almost instantly there.
Mr. Guru continues to get these kills. Fluxify rotates over again, and Team Oxygen seem to be very disoriented and staggered at this point as they're going in, but not as a team. Instead of just giving up kills, Mr. Guru's chasing, but he's got to be careful if this boulder lands. Of course it's going to land. It's Meds. Greedy play from Mr. Guru. He thought he was going to be able to get the kill, but the respawn timers are still low enough to where even though Meds died in that fight, he got back on the field and punished what was an overextension.
Yeah, I was just going to praise Arctic Wolves for that. They needed to start picking up some of these kills, and that's exactly what they do. Mr. Guru, his eyes were bigger than his stomach there. He is going to get picked up and die, but he does pick up some kills. He gets a nice little economy boost. He's sitting at 25 vitality at this point, so he's at his final build. He's got agility. My fault. 25 agility.
We're learning.
He's got his heavy hitter. He's got Shatter Golem online, and he's got overclocked droid, so he's going to be able to chase and deal much better damage here. So he's at that build of, okay, now Mr. Guru is going to be a factor. Does he have multi-shot gem?
He has multi-shot.
Multi-shot. Okay, I want to see if he
also has my favorite gem. One of my favorite gems, Relentless Pursuit. Love that card. Such a cool design.
Basic attacks no longer apply slow. That's the card. That's the gem you love. You love that card right there.
I think it's an awesome design. Ram might be overextended over here a bit. Crash Bang Boom's gonna knock him up. Tether's gonna land. GTFO gets him low enough. The rest of the team is waiting around the corner. I was afraid Arctic was diving in there, but Fluxify is gonna find the rest of them. He's continuing to pursue. Nope, he hears Meds pick up that boulder and immediately retreats. So Arctic Wolves are starting to not making the same mistake they just made of overextending.
Yeah. Tier 1 tower is going to fall in the mid lane here. Good job, Talrino, holding that for 23 minutes. Well done. You win, sir. He won the game.
Actually, is really good.
No, I know. I'm not kidding. It's really good. Held it for 23. I'm expecting to see another Orb Prime push here in just a minute. Meds does have purple buff. Tribal has to be... They go for Tribal. They go for Flux in the jungle. Okay, Flux just backed off. So we do know there's a purple buff down. Are they going to be able to find a target to kill here? It looks like they may find Crazy Fool Shane. He's going to be hit with that boulder. He's going to be hooked back in. The Crazy Fool is going to fall. Just a little bit out of position. He didn't know Meds was there.
That purple buff, river buff control is so important. Map control is so important just for that reason right there. 5v4, Team Oxygen eyeing down this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. It's the last tower outside of the inhibitors. But instead, over to Orb Prime they go, and I like this, preemptively putting themselves in a position for Orb Prime. If anything, Iggy takes time to set up, get there before Iggy gets there, and they should be able to take this here, because Iggy, in this situation, actually isn't that good. It's because it does require time, and Team Oxygen are not going to allow that time. The Orb Prime should be picked up here in just a moment. Meds gets the last hit, and Arctic Wolves, yeah, instead, they're just going to push and concede the Orb Prime for now. Have to make sure they don't get wrapped around here. They are now retreating, should be okay, but yeah, this is a very threatening moment here for Team Oxygen. They've been on the back foot a little bit for the past 5 to 10 minutes. I expect them to bounce back.
Yeah, the last time they picked up an Orb Prime, Shane, they took down 6. They took down 6 towers and won the game.
7, including the core.
You know, so I expect there to be quite the push here right now. So we'll see what happens. Meds is going to throw that boulder. It does go over the head of Mr. Guru. Tell me no. The GTFO spam. Shane, I don't think I'm ever going to
use spamming cancel? Is he spamming GTFO cancel, or he's just...
No, I mean, every 15 seconds, he's just using it. I don't think I'm ever going to give him the fact of seeing it ultimate.
Have you played it yet? Have you played it yet?
I have not.
It's so satisfying. It's the most satisfying. Oh my god, it's just so satisfying, dude. Especially when you get so far. Especially when you get so far ahead, you start one-shotting carries. It's so good.
I haven't done it. I got to try it. I just think it's great. It's like I was going to say earlier. You know, they had to use ultimates on Ram. He does get it, but I'm realizing it's a 15-second ultimate. You use that ultimate all the time. It doesn't matter anywhere.
I mean, Wukong's ultimate doesn't have a cooldown.
You make a very valid point. Wukong's also not picked a lot in competitive.
I'm surprised we have. I know that's crazy to me because he's in such a strong position. Maybe that's just because it's so pick-off oriented and less split push oriented. That's why Wukong's not getting favor. He's just a pub stomper at this point.
Pushed onto the inhibitor here. I believe they've got the defense. We've got some. They've got turrets set up. Mets just took it. They've got turrets set up.
Did he?
Be able to, he just stood there. He just stood there. He's just like, got that. All right. Just GTFO me. Get it over with. They've got to be careful, though, because they've got the split push. Who wins in the split push, Iggy or Arsenic? Who wins this defense battle here?
I feel like Iggy wins it every time, but I'm more concerned about the 4v4 going on the right side of the map. GTFO being used on Meds of all people. That's not really touching him that much as he has that region available. Fluxify jumps in. Forces in range out of Meds, but immediately they become very, very hesitant. Phasma has now used the ultimate, and he's just immediately going to get blown up. Beautiful play from Arctic Wolves to feign an initiation, force the ultimate out from Team Oxygen, fall back, then go back in. Mr. Guru gets hit by a boulder, but he is able to survive, and now with that lifesteal online, he's doing all the damage. GTFO coming through once again, but Ram has now rotated, isolating Mr. Guru. The peel is not available as Crazy Fool had no more tools available, and Fluxify was simply too low to do anything. All the meanwhile, left lane, Arsenic did get the inhibitor down. He just had a superior minion wave. And again, Iggy's wave clear is not what it used to be. So Arsenic was able to exploit that. Now Ram continues to go in. He picked up the kill on Mr. Guru. This guy's just a carry killer. Swinging that sword of his, 2 inhibitors down in the lateral lanes, mid lane pushing as well. And if there is no defense coming out here from Arctic Wolves, they're going to be behind on all of their inhibitors here. And that is insurmountable odds here in the new Dawn. And just without their carries, their DPS is pretty much non-existent here, Notch.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenic just pushed Tribal out of that lane. He's got too much of a lead. The power of that Orb Prime online, plus the size of his minion wave. 18 minions took down that inhibitor. There's currently 16 just hanging out of this core. Minions, Shane, will always be forever the MVPs.
The MVP.
Congratulations to Oxygen. 2-0 against Arctic Wolves. They'll be moving on to the finals today. Shane, Team Oxygen.
Yeah.
They look damn strong today, man. They played really well. Yes, they had a couple missteps in that mid portion of the game where it looked like Arctic Wolves was going to come back. But Team Oxygen, man, they played really, really, really strong.
They did, as to be expected. Watching those guys play at the Paragon exhibition event, I was expecting them to have really, really good results coming into this, and they certainly have showed up. Arctic Wolves, it's a relatively new roster. They looked much better in game number 2, but simply outclassed in this.
Yeah.
Versus Team Oxygen here.
They did. Chimera, I felt like, and again, we're not. I just saw chat Fluxify. It was the pick. I believe it was the Chimera pick, not so much the player behind the keyboard. I would have loved to see Grux. I would have loved to see Grux. Severog, we haven't seen a lot of. I know I was talking to Blood Mortius. I've heard Blood Mortius say he doesn't feel Sevarog is in a super great spot right now, but I would have liked to see another pick over Chimera. I just feel like that hero isn't. I just don't feel like that hero is that great right now in that role. There's better options, and I would have loved to see another option there. But congratulations to Oxygen. They will be moving
Narbash?
on. Stop it. It's never going to happen.
It did happen twice.
I'm going to rewatch those replays with you later, buddy, so we can see how well it worked out.
Narbash had more CC than Chimera.
Touche. Guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting Competitive Paragon. And if you guys want to support these teams, we finally got it to work. ! Donate in chat. You can head over to the Match Arena. The prize money does and always will go to these teams. So if you want to do that, ! Donate in chat. You guys can go over there and support these teams. Shane, we're going to take a 3-minute break. We're going to jump back in with Reborn versus Hydra. We'll see you guys in just a minute.